You know, sometimes it's hard to be a woman, as the Tammy Wynette song told us. And believe it or not, sometimes it's actually quite hard to be a man. In fact, we can safely say, regardless of gender, sometimes there's periods when it's just quite difficult being a human. To be fair, it's probably quite difficult whatever species you are. Penguins have to survive harsh weather, antelopes have to avoid lions. So it's not just us that can find life on the planet hard. I guess it's just, well, we're the only ones that can turn it into a country music song. If you think about it, you being alive is actually a miracle. An academic professor recently calculated the chances of you being born, and he came to the conclusion that the chances are so remote that they're practically zero. Now, the definition of a miracle is something that is virtually impossible somehow happens. Everything that had to occur for humans to exist at all, then survive long enough for our lives to happen, are so unlikely that you or I shouldn't really exist. But here we are, living on Earth today and trying to find a way to get through it all without it being too hard. Being a baby looks hard at times. You can't tell anyone what you need. Being a child can be exciting, but then you have to work out friendships in school. Being a teenager can be mad in a really good way, and in a not so good way. That transition from teen to adult can be filled with possibilities, but it's also the time many of us can feel quite scared and overwhelmed by it all. Adulthood, parenthood, older age can all bring good times as well as really tough times. One of the biggest reasons it seems to be hard is that none of us have done this before. We're all on this journey through life without really knowing what we're meant to do. I now feel absolutely ready to live my 40s. Unfortunately, I just turned 50. And each decade seems to have gone like that. Reached 30 and suddenly could see what I should have done with my 20s. Did the same at 40 and will probably have my 50s figured out just as I celebrate my 60th. None of us can really be certain if we're making the best choices. But it's crucial that while we figure it out, we don't lose sight of the fact that, well, this is our one and only chance to actually experience life. None of the other species, as far as we know, get the chance to experience life on this remarkable planet in the way that we do. I mean, really, it should be one giant adventure to the ultimate destination. I mean, a trip to planet Earth is a trip to see wild things, northern lights, shooting stars, stand in oceans, sit beside rivers, wander through phenomenal landscapes and taste, smell, see, hear, read and feel things that we'll never get the chance to experience again once our trip here finally comes to an end. But of course, we tend not to do these things. We often lose sight of the fact that we're the tiny few who won the lottery. And we sit watching Say Yes to the Dress or becoming wrapped up in the mind-numbing nonsense of social media, comparing our slice of fate against someone else's, worrying about our hair, and fighting arguments that don't really need fought. So, this video introduces our third playlist, which looks at all these challenges and hurdles that come with being alive, growing up and moving through our lives. And why it can feel so hard at times, and why we lose sight of the small miracle that you are.